and welcome to the Pampered Chef Test Kitchen. My name is Tim. I've been working around food since I was like 16 years old. Pretty much ever since then, I've just been obsessing about it. My new obsession though is teaching people about food, about cooking, how simple and easy it is to make food so much more delicious. Now the chances are, if you're actually watching this video, you obsess about food a little bit too much too. But this is perfect because today I'm gonna be talking about some cooking techniques that are they're really simple to grasp, right? You don't need a culinary degree to understand them. It's really about understanding not only the technique, why it works, but how it works as well. So today I'm gonna be talking about searing. More specifically, searing a steak. Like a really good, perfect steak. So simple to do. There's just a few techniques that you have to understand, but we're really excited. I'm so thrilled that we're gonna watch this. So, first things first, let's talk about the steak itself. There's a lot of conversation, a lot of questions about when to salt your steak. So here's what I did here. I actually seasoned one steak right here about an hour ago, and then I'm gonna salt this steak right before I put it on the pan. The reason for that is because when you put salt on a steak, it draws out moisture, but if you do that too soon before you're gonna cook it, that moisture gets drawn out and then you're never gonna get a good sear on your steak. So if you do this like an hour ahead, I thought this is a really, really cool trick. You do this like an hour ahead, what happens is that the salt draws out the moisture in the steak, and then after a while, it goes back into the steak and it makes a drier surface, right? Water and searing, not good friends. Think about it this way, right? Water boils at like 212 degrees, like 100 Celsius. But you want to get a sear at like 285 degrees Fahrenheit, right? It's like 140 Celsius. So water is never going to help you get a good sear. So salt your steak either right before you put it in the pan or like an hour before. Next thing to remember, preheating your pan, okay? You want to give it like 4 minutes over a flame. So important that you preheat your pan because you want that pan to be nice and hot as soon as it touches the steak. Another important thing to know is to use a stainless steel pan. All right, this is a stainless steel pan. It has an aluminum core. It's really, really crucial for whenever you're searing a steak for a couple of reasons. One is that whenever you're using stainless steel, it controls heat and maintains heat really, really well. And the aluminum core that's like sandwiched in between the stainless steel, that helps like move the heat from the flame to your steak. So this is a great pan. This is obviously a very special pan because of this stainless steel mesh. Has a non-stick coating on the side. We're gonna talk about why that's so awesome a little bit later. But preheat your pan. Okay, like I said, water is the enemy of cooking a steak. So pat it dry. Even if you salted it, you want to get as much moisture out of it as possible. So then, this is like the crucial thing. You'll know that your pan is preheated, right? When the oil kind of moves like water. You know, oil has that really like thick kind of consistency. When it starts moving like water, it's gonna be so much easier. Then, put it in the pan, you hear it sizzle. Okay, now listen. Most important part about searing is what you do next. Nothing. Don't mess with the pan right now. It's so tempting. I know you want to like shake the pan, you want to, flip the steak, you want to look around, you want to peek, you want to poke. Don't do it. Just walk away. Find a hobby, do something else. If you like to knit, maybe knit. If you have like your taxes to file your taxes. Don't look at the steak. Just walk away. It'll be about 4 minutes. Set a timer, look at your phone, play a song, do whatever you have to do. So we have 4 minutes for this to happen. So while this is happening, I really wanted to explain what is happening when you're searing a steak. This is called the Maillard reaction when you're searing a steak. Maillard, okay, listen, Maillard. It's French. You don't have to know any French in order to be a good cook. But Basically, it's the difference between caramelizing, which happens with sugar, and the Maillard reaction, which happens with proteins like steak and chicken. Okay, I actually have a piece of chicken. We can do that later. But it's pretty much the exact same thing. So when you're searing a steak, all of that protein is getting brown, it's getting dark, it's getting deeper and deeper with flavor. And it's gonna be really, really more delicious at the end. The thing to note is that, like, don't think of searing a steak as cooking a steak. Searing a steak is flavoring your steak, right? These techniques, all of these things, whether you're searing or sauteing or simmering or whatever, it's not about, like, think of it as like another ingredient in your recipe. Like, you can leave it out of the recipe, it's just not gonna be as delicious if you don't put it in. So this searing is another ingredient. So it's gonna be 4 minutes before we do anything else. So now we're gonna just hang out. Actually, hold on a second. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I want to show you. So this steak, this is a good example while we're talking. If I season this steak right now, we have just like another minute, and you're gonna see the water getting drawn out of the steak. Like I said, water and Maillard reaction don't happen together. So you'll see that. One other thing that you may have noticed that I didn't do is I didn't add black pepper to the steak. That's because black pepper, I prefer at the end of cooking. I don't think that like charred, seared black pepper is particularly delicious. I really prefer doing that kind of at the end when I'm finishing a meal. The salt in here is really all about making sure that you taste more of the steak itself, right? Okay, 4 minutes, we're back, ready to go. So next step, flip your steak, beautiful, beautiful sear. And now I'm gonna do something that's really about getting it some flavor. We're gonna add a little bit of thyme, we're gonna add a little bit of butter, and it's gonna be so, so delicious. All right, so here we go. We've got thyme, I'm also gonna turn the pan off at this point, because I really, like I said, I don't wanna cook my steak in this pan. I wanna season it in the pan. All right, thyme, butter, and spoon. So now, have this melted butter. We're just gonna brush it over the steak. So it's gonna taste like butter and thyme and amazingness. It's gonna be so, so good. All right, now in it goes. All right, it has been 8 minutes and I'm getting this steak out of the pan onto a cutting board to rest. Crucial, crucial part of cooking a steak, as you can tell, is not doing a lot. Let the steak hang out, be there alone. It doesn't have to do anything. What we're gonna do instead, while that's happening, is we're gonna make a pan sauce out of this. Pan sauce is really one of the best things about getting a great sear on a steak. The reason and the way that you do that is because of what's called fond that's in the bottom of the pan. Okay, fond is basically the sticky brown bits whenever you seared your steak that stay onto the stainless steel. This pan, it's awesome because it has the stainless steel mesh that rises up above the nonstick. It's still really easy to clean, but you still get the sticky bits that make food so delicious. This is the kind of stuff, like, you can't buy this in the grocery store, right? You can't like go to the jar aisle and find a jar of fond. They just can't make this stuff. You have to be the one to make it. So it's so, so important. And best of all, this steak is becoming more and more delicious as it hangs out. So how we're gonna do that is we got the pan back on a simmer. We're going to get a little bit of like flavors. We've got some shallot here. We're gonna peel this. Whenever you're peeling something like a shallot, shallots can be weird, so check this out. They have a lot of times these two different cores that make them kind of a pain to cut. Simplest thing to do is to cut right down the center in between those two cores. and then it'll be really easy to cut it from there. So, peeling off. This is not something that's, like I said, really rocket science, but good stuff to know. So a shallot is like an onion, basically. A shallot is an onion that has a little bit more class, you know? It's a little classier, a little nicer, a little more impressive. It's not as like sharp, not as like biting as an onion. It doesn't make your eyes hurt quite as bad, but it's really nice. So I'm just gonna slice it really quick with a chef's knife, and we're gonna put this in the pan. One thing I wanna do though, you'll see that there's like a lot of fat from that butter. One of my coworkers, she's a registered dietitian, Sandy, she would not approve of this much butter. So I'll pull that out. All right, then pan shallots, and once again, a little bit more salt. Why? Because salt draws out moisture, and the moisture is what's gonna pull up some of that sticky bit, the brown bit. So here we go. So we've got some shallots here. We're gonna get some color on them. We're gonna sweat out some of that water. And you know what, we're gonna add some mushrooms too. Like I said, if you don't love mushrooms, don't use mushrooms. If you don't love shallots or have shallots, don't use it. Just a little something with flavor. Actually, this will be easier. Hold on. And also something with a little moisture. So think like red bell peppers, think onions, think shallots, tomatoes even are really great. We're just gonna cook this down with a little bit of salt. Just kind of let this sweat out for just a second. There's a lot of water in mushrooms, so all the salt that we add is gonna really help cook up and pick up some of that fond there. It'll be really, really good. Man, it smells so good. It smells like flavor. It smells like searing, like a really beautiful seared steak. It has lots of aromatics to it. Next thing we're gonna do is add a little bit of red wine. So the red wine adds a little bit of acid, adds a little bit more nuance, and adds like, so good. A lot of flavor. So, listen, I know that we've been talking about how to cook a steak and we're making this pan sauce, but just think about this. This is not complicated stuff. You've totally got this. You preheat a pan, put a steak in the pan, in the oven, out of the oven. So simple to do. It's a few minutes. All of this stuff, this is just the stuff that you do because you want to get that extra layer of flavor. You want to make sure that it's something nice that you are proud of serving your family, right? And you feel good about serving them. And it's just really, really fun, right? All right. So then we're gonna add a little beef broth. If you don't have beef broth, you can add chicken stock. If you don't have chicken stock, add some water. The point is that the stuff in this pan you want to get out. It is so, so good. And we're gonna let that simmer. Trick is basically just to bring everything up, let it evaporate a little bit, let a little bit of that water kind of cook out of there. If you've noticed, I'm not a huge fan of water. It doesn't taste like anything. So I'm always trying to make sure that that is not part of the equation. So we're gonna let that simmer for just a second. And whenever it's done simmering, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter. Reason why is because that's gonna add some great texture. It's gonna kind of round everything out. When you have the red wine and the acid from the brightness from the red wine, you have the mushrooms and the shallots, and that beef stock, the butter is just gonna smooth everything out. It's gonna add a little bit more texture, and then we're gonna put it all together with our steak. It is so good. Okay, so here we go. I know, a little bit. I said a little bit. Okay, not a little. A little bit more. A little more than a little. It's okay. Granted, you're not eating steaks every single night of the week, so this is gonna be so delicious. And this is the best part. This is the stuff that I am so in love with, that I find is so cool. Is this part right here. So you have mushrooms cooking, the stock is simmering, and then I'm just gonna swirl. This is when you get to like swirl the pan. You're so annoyed when you don't get to touch the pan whenever you're cooking a steak. This is your time to swirl the pan, all right? So you finally get your chance to feel like you're cooking. So swirl all this together. Good. And then we're just gonna let that cook down for just another second. Okay. So with the steak, I know I said it's gonna cook for about 8 minutes. And that is really totally dependent on the thickness of your steak. I don't know if you've seen those like where they do this, they do that, they do this, or they like tell you it's your forehead, your nose, or your cheek, and there's all these kinds of like tricks. You can do one of two things. You can use a thermometer, or you can just time it. This steak was about 1 inch thick, so I cooked it for about 8 minutes in the oven. If you have a really thick steak, add like another 4 minutes. If you have one of those big steaks, add like another 10 minutes. There's not a lot of rules to it, but it's really, really simple. It's just a matter of timing. This is an average, a normal steak. All right, get our plate ready. We've got our sauce going. So, if I were going to serve this for a family, my kind of go-to, rather than buying a bunch of little thin steaks, I would say if I'm gonna serve a crowd, I'd rather get one big steak or two really big steaks and serve everyone slices of it. That way, you have a much easier time cooking it. You have a lot fewer pans in the oven. So here we go. This is a nice like medium steak. So then we can just put this right on the plate here. This. Use that here. All right, so here we are. Steak, mushrooms, shallots. We got the fond from the pan right here. This beautiful, beautiful rich sauce. Maybe taste it for a second. See if it needs any more salt. Doesn't need salt, but it needs like a pinch of black pepper to kind of brighten it up. Add a little spice to it, and here we go. Guys, man, this is so easy. This is so simple, and it's so much fun. You have this beautiful steak, this great sear, and so much fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you cook a steak very soon, because I'm gonna eat a steak very soon. Thank you for watching. Check out the rest of our videos. Have a great time.